I recognize the member from Candio High, Representative Baker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I have the honor, members, to introduce a resolution recognizing the 50th anniversary of the Minnesota House of Representatives High School Page Program. From its beginning, the Page Program has enjoyed broad bipartisan support in this House, and therefore I would ask all members to listen as the resolution is read so that together we can learn about its history and mission, acknowledge those who have made a special contribution to its past successes, and affirm our enthusiastic support for its continued efforts to engage students in the civic life of our great state. Whereas 2025 marks the 50th anniversary of the Minnesota High School Page Program, a significant milestone we recognize today in the presence of 8 newly minted pages who join a long tradition of young Minnesotans who have served in this program.
I recognize the member from Dakota, Representative Hanson J.
Whereas the future of democratic institutions such as the Minnesota House of Representatives relies on the engagement and involvement of our youth, who will one day sit at these desks debating and making decisions on important issues facing our state.
I recognize the member from Hennepin, Representative Robbins.
Whereas in 1973, the Speaker of the House, Martin Olaf Sabo, visited the Maryland State House and learned about the General Assembly Student Page Program founded by Speaker Thomas Hunter Lowe. Inspired by this program, Speaker Sabo returned to Minnesota, determined to establish a similar initiative in the Minnesota House of Representatives.
I recognize the member from Ramsey, Representative Lee Kay.
Whereas Speaker Sable was instrumental in founding the Minnesota House High School Page Program with the efforts of his staff and the Chief Sergeant-at-Arms office. MJ Hedstrom, a young Assistant Sergeant-at-Arms, played a key role in launching and leading the program for its first 6 years.
I recognize the member from Mauer, Representative Mueller.
Whereas the program has evolved over the years, it remains dedicated to its original mission, bringing high school juniors from across the state to St. Paul for a week of service and learning. As Speaker Sabo noted in 2013, it was a good idea in 1975, and it still is.
I recognize the member from Anoka, Representative Norris. Representative Hollins.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Whereas the Minnesota High School Page Program has been sustained by a succession of chief sergeants, most notably and recently Bob Meyerson and Lori Hodep, and has enjoyed broad bipartisan support from the Minnesota House of Representatives as well as from various legislative offices.
I recognize a member from Freeborn, Representative Bennett.
Whereas former House member Gene Pulowski and Chief Clerk of the House Patrick Duffy Murphy deserve special recognition for their decades of commitment to the program, spending countless hours mentoring and inspiring generations of pages who will long remember their exemplary public service.
I recognize the member from Hennepin, Representative Jordan.
Whereas the Page program has profoundly impacted the lives of thousands of young Minnesotans from all corners of the state. For many, it has been a defining, life-changing experience. As one former Page reflected, that week at the Capitol was truly special, and I can honestly say it has impacted me and the trajectory of my life.
I recognize the member from Hennepin, Representative Cleavorn.
Whereas the Minnesota High School Page program now enters its 50th year with gratitude, optimism, and ambition. We are grateful for all who have supported the program. We are optimistic about the future shaped by the students who have come to serve and to learn. And we are dedicated to ensuring it remains relevant for all future generations.
I recognize the member from Carver, Representative Nash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Be it resolved by the Committee on Rules and Legislative Administration of the House of Representatives of the State of Minnesota that the House recognizes the 50th anniversary of the Minnesota High School PAGE program and extends its best wishes for continued success as the program pursues its well-established and noble mission. And Madam Speaker, I was asked to remind the body that there apparently are cookies in the back celebrating the 50th anniversary of the PAGE program that I will say my daughter echoes everything that was in this, and she was here last week.
And members, I wanted to announce that with us today is former Representative Gene Pulowski. You've already given him a hand. Please go ahead and do so again.